So one thing that really can help drive us to some new patterns in our recovery is the realization that sexual energy is very creative energy. And I can transmute sexual energy into creative activities. This is a concept that Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, Think and Grow Rich. And one of his principles of success that he discovered was to transmute sexual energy into creative, passionate work. So it's like we take all this energy that we could just dissipate with pornography, masturbation, other sexual type things, and instead we pour that energy into creative, passionate activities. I've watched this in many individuals who choose to abstain from pornography and masturbation, and they do it for a long period of time, and suddenly they begin to become more productive. They start to see themselves increasing in their productivity, in their output, in the things that they're able to create. I have one individual who told me, and this was his first time to really get on top of pornography. And he said, this year, this work year has been one of my very best work years. And I mentioned to him, I said, isn't it interesting that this is the year that you've really worked to master a lot of these issues with pornography? And he's like, oh my gosh, you're right. And he has felt that energy, just all that energy he used to dissipate, just shifting into this creative effort in his job. And he's been able to create some amazing things and build teams that he never had been able to build in the past. So passion and passion projects can be an excellent way to really shift this energy, to really transmute it. There's one other aspect of this that's really interesting is what we define as warrior chemistry. Warrior chemistry gets activated when we get passionately intentional about something. We pour our intention in. If you think about the spin is getting us out of our frontal lobe into our middle brain, and look at the levels on the chemical scale. Level 0, we're fully intentional. We're connected. Level 5, forget it moment. We have no intention. We've lost all will to fight. So if 0 is fully intentional and 5 is not intentional at all, what's the antidote? Get intentional and do it in a passionate way. If I were to walk out on a battlefield and go, well, I'll try to win today, how passionate are we in that pursuit? I can be intentional, but be pretty lacking in the passion that I need behind that intention. The idea around warrior chemistry is that we're passionately intentional in a righteous way, in a productive way. So when you think about a passion project, you may think about, do I have to add something else to my life? Do I have to have one more thing that I'm doing? My life is already so full. I have no room for another project. My answer to that is absolutely not. There's a great video from Mel Robbins that I share often in my individual work with people, and particularly when we start the passion project side of things. She talks about the idea of passion and seeking for passion, like going and looking for our passion, and how passion is not that way at all. It's not something you go out and you search for and you try to find somewhere. Passion is something that you begin to feel as you bring your energy to the given moment that you're in. So passion has nothing to do with what's going on outside of you. It has everything to do with how you choose to show up in a given moment and the energy you bring by that effort when you don't feel like it. You don't feel passion necessarily when you first start, but suddenly, as we serve something passionately, we begin to feel the passion for it. And that is the antidote to the spin. I can find myself right back at 0 and feeling grounded out when I can truly get passionate about whatever I'm doing. Nice thing about a passion project is that it becomes something that's a focus that we can get up and really sink our teeth into every day. The beauty of passion projects is that they tend to, number one, align with our purpose, but number two, they tend to require other people's help, because when we get a real vision for something that we want to create, it's usually bigger than us. And so we have a tendency to need God's help and other people's help in a true passion project. Then the other awesome part about a passion project is there's good in it for other people. So those three elements really give a passion project some of its teeth and really make it something palpable that can shift your chemistry. So I really encourage you to start looking around. If you haven't been thinking about yet, what is it that's really my purpose? What can I really get passionate about to start filling this gap or this hole that I'm creating in abstaining from pornography? I'd really encourage you to do that, to start thinking about that. And you might even just start with something as simple as, what are my interests? I find that interests are God's breadcrumbs leading us to our purpose. So pay attention to them. They can really help you to find that direction of what you're really passionate about, what would really help you be who you were meant to be.